Greetings everyone, my name is Gigi and this is Let's Build, wherein I build a Lego set timed to different media and talk about the facts concerning the topic of the build. Today's build is the Lego 1989 Batwing versus Batman the video game. The footage I'm using for this game is for science, educational, and research purposes. My content is transformative and protected under fair use. All footage is time-lapse with commentary. There will be spoilers for Batman and Batman the video game. You have been warned. Specifications for the Lego set. This is no kid's toy. If you're serious about Batman, comic book superheroes, or making cool models, this Lego DC Batman 1989 Batwing is for you. Batwing Construction Project. Recreate the authentic detail and gothic elegance of Batman's iconic aircraft, the Batwing, with this Lego brick build and display model. The impressive reproduction features realistic details, removable canopy, full interior, poseable flaps, and a new special brick that will allow you to mount and display your model on a wall. There's also a stand, nameplate, and 3 minifigures, Batman, the Joker, and a Lawrence the Boombox Goon, to create an impressive setting for your model. Lego Brick Model Making Kits. Escape the busy world for a moment and discover the joy of creative construction with adult Lego building sets. Satisfying to build and stunning to display, adult Lego kits make great holiday gifts, holiday presents, and personal treats for anyone interested in model making or comic culture. Indulge your passion for the Caped Crusader with the Lego DC Batman 1989 Batwing. If you're an adult Batman fan or a model building enthusiast, this buildable display model of the Batwing is for you. The iconic style of the Batwing is from the 1989 Batman movie, is enhanced by a sturdy stand, nameplate, and 3 minifigures, Batman, the Joker, and a Boombox Goon. This challenging and rewarding building project provides an engrossing and stress-relieving break from the real world, and will look great when displayed on the wall or in its stand on your home or in your workplace. Any superhero or Lego fan will love this 2,336-piece construction kit. Whether you buy it for yourself, as a birthday gift, or a holiday present, the Lego Batwing model is sure to deliver hours of enjoyment. Measuring over 4 inches high, 20 inches long, and 22 inches wide, the Lego DC Batman 1989 Batwing looks stunning on its stand or when attached to the wall. No batteries required. This collectible piece of Batman memorabilia offers a hands-on build and display experience that will catch the eye of every Batman, sci-fi, or model-making enthusiast. Easy to follow, high-quality instructions are included to ensure you gain maximum enjoyment from this fascinating construction project. Part of a series of authentic Lego reproductions designed to deliver a satisfying build and display experience. For more in the series, check out the DC Lego Batman 1989 Batmobile. No superpowers are required to connect and pull apart Lego bricks and pieces. They meet the highest industry standard, which ensures they fit together and separate perfectly every time. Lego bricks and pieces are rigorously tested to ensure your awesome display model meets the highest toy safety standards in Gotham City and the rest of planet Earth. If the forces of evil should rise again to cast a shadow on the heart of the city, call me. A letter from Batman to the citizens of Gotham City from Batman 1989 movie. The inspiration. The Batwing is the epitome of the caped crusader. For one thing, a bat has to fly, but of course, more than that, its silhouette against the full moon in Batman 1989 emulates the bat signal, the iconic beacon of hope that summons Batman in the darkest hours of Gotham City. The design process. Eager to capture the mood, brood, and spirit of the movie, our designers went all out to recreate the distinctive features of the Batwing. Adam Grabowinski, Senior Model Designer. The Batwing movie model actually isn't very detailed, but its shape is what gives it life. So it was important to get that right. I tackled it as one unit instead of one feature at a time. It's only shown very briefly in the movie, and most details can be seen inside the cockpit. But we had blueprints that, knowing the dimensions, we blew up to scale with the 1989 Batmobile when we mapped out the cockpit window and went from there. We opted for a build solution rather than a one-piece window because, in our opinion, it worked almost at once. Interpreting the construction. We took a few creative liberties inside the cockpit. It's not an angle you really get to see, and we had to create an artificial shadow so that the footwell looks deeper than it actually is. The edges of the wings, in bags 5 and 6, are quite unusual and a fun challenge to build. They wrap around the outer curve of the wing, which isn't a perfect half circle. I created the outline with techniques that allowed me to flip bricks in a way so I could use the best brick for the shape I needed. It's a crazy puzzle, but it works. Iona Popescu, graphic designer. I loved creating the minifigures and stickers for this set, especially the Boombox Goon. He is such a fun character and nicely detailed. It was my fourth The Joker minifigure, and the most unique so far. Graphic design brings the story into the model. Look for Easter eggs like the screen with the iconic Smilex gas balloon and the sticker that labels the engine as a Bat engine. Adam's idea. Working with Adam is always a smooth process, except for a mistake I made on a sticker which I had to correct quite late in the process. Oops. I'm Batman. The Batwing movie model. A life-size model of the Batwing was built for the close-up flying scenes when Batman takes on the Joker at the 200th anniversary celebration of Gotham City. He grabs the toxic Smilex-filled parade balloons from the Joker's float and flies off, releasing them into the night sky. Guns blazing, he zooms back towards the grinning maniac on the ground in a theatrical showdown that ends in a dramatic crash. Ready for takeoff. The movie version of this Batwing may have crashed on the steps of the Gotham City Cathedral, but this one you can build, rebuild, and display wherever you like. Follow the instructions, get ready to save Gotham City from the city's first fully functioning homicidal artist, and give the world a rest from crime. There is also a way to mount the Batwing flat on a wall, with a hidden bracket behind the cockpit. The Batwing, Batplane, Batjet, or Batgyro is the fictional aircraft for the DC Comics superhero Batman. The vehicle was introduced in Batman vs. the Vampire 1, published in Detective Comics number 31 in 1939, a story which saw Batman travel to continental Europe. In this issue, it was referred to as the Batgyro, and according to Les Daniels, it was apparently inspired by Igor Sikorsky's first successful helicopter flight of the same year. Initially based upon either an autogyro or helicopter, with a rotor, the Batgyro features a bat motif on the front. The writers gave the Bat Gyro the ability to be parked in the air by Batman, hovering in such a way as to maintain its position and allow Batman to return. The Bat Gyro was soon replaced by the Bat Plane, which debuted in Batman #1 and initially featured a machine gun. The vehicle was now based on a fixed-wing airplane rather than a helicopter, with a propeller at the front, although a bat motif was still attached to the nose cone. The Batplane has undergone constant revision since its first appearance and has been depicted as having the capability to traverse underwater. With the launch of the Tim Burton-directed Batman film of 1989, the Batplane became known as the Batwing, a name which was carried over into the comics. Previously in Batman #300, the name Batwing was used in reference to a spacecraft. In the 2012 film, The Dark Knight Rises, also depicted the Batplane to film. However, this time the vehicle was referred to as the Bat. A sentient version of the Batwing named Wing appears in Batwheels, voiced by Milimar Hernandez. Background: Batman once maintained aircraft in his original Batcave. However, launching these planes so close to Wayne Manor's neighboring estates threatened to compromise Batman's secret identity. The Caped Crusader now borrows specially modified jets and helicopters from Wayne Aerospace's business and military contracts. Batman '89 and Batman Forever. The Batwing appears in Batman 1989 and Batman Forever. It is destroyed in the former film, but was rebuilt and upgraded. Both models of the plane were created with miniature effects. In Batman, the Batwing was designed by Anton Furst and Julian Caldo and constructed by John Evans' special effects team at Pinewood Studios. 5 models were created, with only 1 in full scale. A full-size segment of the cockpit was created in front of a blue screen set for close-up shots of Michael Keaton piloting the craft. Batman's first known use of the Batwing was after the Joker's rise to power, during his takeover of Gotham City's 200th anniversary parade. Batman used it to dispose of Joker's balloons that were filled with Smilex, that Joker attempted to use to kill everyone in the crowd. The Batwing flew extremely low down to Broad Avenue, which then startled the crowd. Batman then extended a grabbing arm in the nose of the Batwing, used it to grip the wires of the balloons, pulled them above the clouds, and saved a majority of the crowd from Smilex. After the crowds fled, Joker stood fearless in the middle of Broad Avenue and challenged the Batwing to attack him. Batman took aim at the Joker and his floats and fired the Batwing's twin M134 miniguns. A couple of Joker goons seemed to perish in collateral damage to the floats. Batman immediately followed up with a pair of missiles that hit the pavement on either side of Joker, and Joker still unflinchingly stood with his arms outstretched and dared Batman to kill him. Dismayed that everything had missed the Joker completely, Batman pulled his targeting computer back. Joker then pulled a long-barreled gun out of his pants and fired one single shot that scored a direct hit to the front of the Batwing. The Batwing was critically damaged and crashed into the steps of the old cathedral. Vicky Vale then rushed over to check for Bruce's survival and found an empty cockpit. The wounded Batman hid under some of the burning wreckage and emerged in pursuit shortly after Joker forced Vicky into the cathedral. The Batplane's redesign in Forever was devised by Barbara Ling and Matt Codd and has a ribbed body and tail fin similar to the Batmobile. This version of the Batplane appears in The Flash, which ignores the events of Forever and Batman and Robin and showcases more of its inner functions, including folding wings and rear seats with built-in parachutes. Lego Batman. Lego's Lego Batman line includes one set which features an incarnation of the Batplane, though it goes by the name of the Batwing. In the Batwing, the Joker's aerial assault kit. This set is featured alongside the Joker's helicopter. Lego also made another set named Batwing Battle Over Gotham City with similar type of vehicles. In 2020, Lego produced the set, the 1989 Batwing, recreating the vehicle from the '89 film. Behind the scenes. The name Batwing originated from Sam Hamm's drafts for the film. Tim Burton decided on a new stylized name for the traditional Batplane of the comics, similar to the car, which was never being referred to as Batmobile in the film. Originally, the Batwing was written to have a laser weapon, but as the film was developed, it decided to focus on artillery instead. Design. David Russell created several unused Batwing designs in the early in the process. A completely new approach was taken to the look of Batman's plane. The version that ended up being developed was designed by Julian Caldo. The vehicle was deliberately designed after the oval bat insignia. According to Nigel Phelps, it was storyboard artist Michael White's idea to include the moment where the Batwing victory dances by silhouetting in front of the moon after Batman's disposal of the Joker balloons. The miniatures. Derek Meddings supervised the construction and photography of the Batwing. At least 5 models were created of the Batwing at various sizes and scales, with only the wreckage that was constructed in full scale. The 3 primary models included an 8-foot fully automated model, a 2-foot model, and a 1-inch model. The large-scale model had to be constructed in an outside studio. Greg Morgan carved the fuselage in Gelutong. A full-size segment of the cockpit was created in front of a blue screen setup for close-up shots of Michael Keaton piloting the craft. After principal photography ended, pickup shots of Batman's gloves operating the pilot controls were performed by Carl Newman. The Batwing's crash sequence was shot on a 1/12th scale miniature set, and the aircraft model that was used was created out of pewter to ensure that it would break up on impact. Legacy. Although the notion of Batman possessing and flying a bat-themed aircraft was around in the comics since 1939, Batman first introduced the classification of Batwing. The film's Batwing was also the first of any bat aircraft that was physically shaped after the bat symbol to such a degree. Following its appearance, comics and other media began to adapt the classification and eccentric shape of the vehicle onto other bat aircraft, usually one-man fighter crafts that were piloted by Batman himself. Batman is a 1989 superhero film based on the DC Comics character of the same name, created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Directed by Tim Burton, it is the first installment of Warner Brothers' initial Batman film series. The film was produced by John Peters and Peter Guber and stars Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton, Kim Basinger, Robert Wuhl, Pat Hingle, Billy D. Williams, Michael Gough, and Jack Palance. The film takes place early in the war on crime of the title character, and depicts his conflict with his arch-enemy, the Joker. After Burton was hired as director in 1986, Steve Englehart and Julie Hickson wrote film treatments for Sam Hamm before Sam Hamm wrote the first screenplay. Batman was not greenlit until after the success of Burton's Beetlejuice. The tone and themes of the film were partially influenced by Alan Moore and Brian Boland's The Killing Joke, and Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. The film primarily adapts and then diverges from Red Hood, original storyline for the Joker, having Batman inadvertently cause gangster Jack Napier to fall into Axis chemical acid, triggering his transformation into the psychotic Joker. Additionally, Batman co-creator Bob Kane worked as a consultant for the film. Numerous leading men were considered for the role of Batman before Keaton was cast. Keaton's casting was controversial since, by 1988, he had become typecast as a comedic actor, and many observers doubted that he could portray a serious role. Nicholson accepted the role of the Joker under strict conditions that dictated top billing, a portion of the film's earnings, including associated merchandise, and his own shooting schedule. Filming took place at Pinewood Studios from October 1988 to January 1989. The budget escalated from $30 million to $48 million, while the 1988 Writers Guild of America strike forced Hamm to drop out. Warren Scarron did rewrites, with additional uncredited drafts done by Chris McCowan and Jonathan Gems. Batman was both critically and financially successful, earning over $40 million in box office totals. Critics and audiences particularly praised Nicholson and Keaton's performances, Burton's direction and production design, and Elfman's score. It was the sixth highest-grossing film in history at the time of its release. The film received several Saturn Award nominations and a Golden Globe nomination for Nicholson's performance, and won the Academy Award for Best Art Direction. The film was followed by 3 sequels: Batman Returns, both Burton and Keaton returning, Batman Forever, which featured Val Kilmer in the lead role, and Batman and Robin, which featured George Clooney in the role. Keaton eventually reprised the role Batman in the DC Extended Universe film The Flash. The film also led to the development of Batman the Animated Series, which in turn began the DC animated universe of spin-off media, and has influenced Hollywood's modern marketing and development techniques of the superhero film genre. Plot: reporter Alexander Knox and photojournalist Vicky Vale investigate sightings of Batman, a masked vigilante targeting Gotham City's criminals. Both attend a fundraiser hosted by billionaire Bruce Wayne, who is secretly Batman, having chosen this path after witnessing a mugger murder his parents while he was a child. During the event, Wayne becomes infatuated with Vale. Meanwhile, mob boss Carl Grissom sends his sociopathic second-in-command, Jack Napier, to raid Axis Chemicals and retrieve incriminating evidence. However, this is secretly a ploy to have Napier murdered for sleeping with Grissom's mistress, Alicia Hunt. Corrupt Lieutenant Max Eckhart arranges the hit on Napier by conducting an unauthorized police operation. However, Commissioner James Gordon arrives, takes command, and orders the officers to capture Napier alive. Batman also appears, while Napier kills Eckhart and as revenge for the double-crossing. During a scuffle with Batman, Napier topples off a catwalk and falls into a vat of chemicals. Although presumed dead, Napier arrives with various disfigurements, including chalk-white skin and emerald-green hair and nails. He undergoes surgery to repair the damage, but ends up with a rictus grim. Driven insane by his new appearance, Napier, now calling himself the Joker, kills Grissom, massacres Grissom's associates, and takes over his operations. He then starts terrorizing Gotham by lacing hygiene products with Smilex, a deadly chemical that causes victims to die laughing. Joker soon becomes obsessed with Vicky and lures her into the Flugelheim Museum, which his henchmen start vandalizing. Batman rescues Vicky, takes her to the Batcave, and provides her with all of his research on Smilex, which will allow Gotham's residents to escape the toxin. Conflicted with his love for her, Wayne visits her apartment intending to reveal his secret identity, only for the Joker to interrupt the meeting. Joker asks Wayne, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" which Wayne recognizes as the catchphrase used by the mugger who killed his parents, realizing the killer to have been the Joker all along. He shoots Wayne, who survives thanks to a serving tray hidden underneath his shirt. Vicky is taken to the Batcave by Wayne's butler, Alfred Pennyworth, who had been coaxing the relationship between the pair. After Vicky learns his secret, Wayne chooses to battle the Joker for the sake of the city over their relationship. He then departs to destroy the Access plant used to create the Smilex. Meanwhile, Joker lures Gotham's citizens to a parade honoring Gotham's bicentennial with a promise of free money. This turns out to be a trap designed to dose them with Smilex gas held within giant parade balloons. Batman foils his plan by using the Batwing to remove the balloons, but Joker shoots him down. The Batwing crashes in front of a cathedral, which Joker uses to take Vicky hostage. Batman pursues the Joker, and in the ensuing fight, he explains that Napier killed his parents and thus indirectly created Batman. Joker eventually pulls Batman and Vicky over to the cathedral's roof, leaving them hanging while he calls a helicopter. The helicopter is piloted by his goons, who throw down a ladder for him to climb. Batman uses a grappling hook to attach Joker's leg to a crumbling gargoyle that eventually falls off the roof. Unable to bear the statue's immense weight, Joker falls to his death while Batman and Vicky make it to safety. Sometime later, Gordon announces that the police have arrested all of Joker's men, effectively dismantling all that remained of Carl Grissom's mafia organizations, and unveils the Bat Signal. Batman leaves the police a note, promising to defend Gotham should crime strike again, and asking them to use the Bat Signal to summon him in times of need. Alfred takes Vicky to Wayne Manor, explaining that Wayne will be a little late. She responds that she is not surprised, as Batman looks at the signal projection from a rooftop standing in watch over the city. Development. In the late 1970s, Batman's popularity was waning. CBS was interested in producing a Batman in Outer Space film, which sounds comical now. Producers Benjamin Melniker and Michael E. Uslan purchased the film rights of Batman from DC Comics on October 3, 1979. It was Uslan's wish to make the definitive, dark, serious version of Batman, the way Bob Kane and Bill Finger had envisioned him in 1939. A creature of the night, stalking criminals in the shadows. Richard Maybaum was approached to write a script with Guy Hamilton to direct, but the two turned down the offer. Uslan was unsuccessful with pitching Batman to various movie studios because they wanted the film to be similar to the campy 1960s television series. Columbia Pictures and United Artists were among those to turn down the film. A disappointed Uslan then wrote a script titled Return of the Batman, to give the film industry a better idea of his vision for the film. Uslan later compared its dark tone to that of successful four-part comic book, The Dark Knight Returns, which his script predated by 6 years. In November 1979, producers John Peters and Peter Guber joined the project. Melniker and Uslan became executive producers. The four felt it was best to pattern the film's development after that of Superman from 1978. Uslan, Melniker, and Gruber pitched Batman to Universal Pictures, but the studio turned it down. Though no movie studios were involved yet, the project was publicly announced with a budget of $15 million in July 1980 at the Comic Art Convention in New York. Warner Brothers, the studio behind the successful Superman film franchise, decided to also accept and produce Batman. Tom Mankiewicz completed a script titled The Batman in June 1983, focusing on Batman and Dick Grayson's origins, with the Joker and Rupert Thorne as villains, and Silver St. Cloud as the romantic interest. Mankiewicz took inspiration from the limited series Batman Strange Apparition, written by Steve Englehart. Comic book artist Marshall Rogers, who worked with Englehart on Strange Apparitions, was hired for concept art. The Batman was then announced in late 1983 for mid-1985 release on a budget of $20 million. Originally, Mankiewicz had wanted an unknown actor for Batman: William Holden for James Gordon, David Naveen as Alfred Pennyworth, and Peter O'Toole as the Penguin, whom Mankiewicz wanted to portray as a mobster with low body temperature. Holden died in 1981 and Naveen in 1983, so this would never come to pass. A number of filmmakers were attached to Mankiewicz's script, including Ivan Reitman and Joe Dante. Reitman wanted to cast Bill Murray as Batman and Eddie Murphy as Robin. 9 rewrites were performed by 9 separate writers. Most of them were based on Strange Apparitions. However, it was Mankiewicz's script that was still being used to guide the project. Due to the work they did together with the film Swamp Thing, Wes Craven was among the directors that Melniker and Uslan considered while looking for a director. After the financial success of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Warner Brothers hired Tim Burton to direct Batman. Burton then had a girlfriend, Julie Hickson, write a 30-page film treatment, feeling the previous script by Mankiewicz was campy. The success of The Dark Knight Returns and the graphic novel Batman the Killing Joke rekindled Warner Brothers' interest in a film adaptation. Burton was initially not a comic book fan, but he was impressed by the dark and serious tone found in both The Dark Knight Returns and The Killing Joke. Warner Brothers enlisted the aid of Englehart to write a new treatment in March of 1986. Like Mankiewicz's script, it was based on his own Strange Apparitions and included Silver St. Cloud, Dick Grayson, the Joker, and Rupert Thorne, as well as a cameo appearance by the Penguin. Warner Brothers was impressed, but Englehart felt that there were too many characters. He removed the Penguin and Dick Grayson in his second treatment, finishing in May 1986. Burton approached Sam Hamm, a comic book fan, to write the screenplay. Hamm decided not to use an original story, feeling that flashbacks would be more suitable and that unlocking the mystery would become part of the storyline. He reasoned, "You totally destroy your credibility if you show the literal process by which Bruce Wayne becomes Batman." Hamm replaced Silver St. Cloud with Vicky Vale and Rupert Thorne with his own creation, Carl Grissom. He completed his script October 1986, which demoted Dick Grayson to a cameo rather than a supporting character. One scene in Hamm's script had a young James Gordon on duty the night of the murder of Bruce Wayne's parents. When Hamm's script was rewritten, the scene was deleted, reducing it to a photo in the Gotham Globe newspaper seen in the film. Warner Brothers was less willing to move forward on development, despite their enthusiasm for Hamm's script, which Kane greeted with positive feedback. Hamm's script was then bootlegged at various comic book stores in the United States. Batman was finally given the green light to commence pre-production in April 1988, after the success of Burton's Beetlejuice that same year. When comic book fans found out about Burton's directing the film with Michael Keaton starring in the lead role, controversy arose over the tone and direction Batman was going in. Ham explained, "They hear Tim Burton's name and they think of Pee-wee's Big Adventure. They hear Keaton's name and they think of any number of Michael Keaton comedies. You think of the 1960s version of Batman, and it was the complete opposite for our film. We tried to market it with a typical dark and serious tone, but the fans just didn't believe us." To combat negative reports on the film's production, Kane was hired as creative consultant. Batman's co-creator Bill Finger was uncredited at the time of the film's release, and his name was not added to any Batman-related media until 2016. Design. Burton had been impressed with the design of Neil Jordan's The Company of Wolves, but was unable to hire its production designer Anton Furst for Beetlejuice, as he had instead committed to Jordan London's filmed ghost comedy High Spirits, a choice he later regretted. A year later, Burton successfully hired Furst for Batman, and they enjoyed working with each other. "I don't think I've ever felt so naturally in tune with a director," Furst said. "Conceptually, spiritually, visually, or artistically. There was never any problem because we never fought over anything. Texture, attitude, and feelings are what Burton is a master at." Furst and the art department deliberately mixed clashing architecture styles to make Gotham City the ugliest and bleakest metropolis imaginable. Furst continued, "We imagined what New York City might have become without a planning commission. A city run by crime with a riot of architecture styles. An essay in ugliness. As if hell erupted through the pavement and just kept going." In the 1985 film Brazil by Terry Gilliam was also a notable influence upon the film's production design, as both Burton and Furst studied it as a reference. Black and white charcoal drawings of key locations and sets were created by Furst's longtime draftsman, Nigel Phillips. Derek Meddings served as the visual effects supervisor overseeing the miniatures and animation. Conceptual illustrator Gillian Caldwell designed the Batmobile, Batwing, and assorted Bat gadgets that were later constructed by prop builder John Evans. Keith Short sculpted the final body of the 1989 Batmobile, adding 2 Browning machine guns. On designing the Batmobile, Furst explained, "We looked at jet aircraft components. We looked at war machines, we looked at all sorts of things. In the end, we went into pure expressionism, taking the salt flat racers of the 30s and the Stingray macho machines of the 50s. The car was built upon a Chevrolet Impala when previous development with a Jaguar and Ford Mustang failed. The car itself was later purchased by stand-up comedian ventriloquist Jeff Dunham, who had it outfitted with a Corvette engine to make it street legal. Costume designer Bob Ringwood turned down the chance to work on A License to Kill in favor of Batman. Ringwood found it difficult designing the Batsuit because the image of Batman in the comics is this huge, big, 6'4" Hulk with a dimpled chin. Michael Keaton is a guy with an average build, he stated. The problem was to make somebody who was average-sized and ordinary-looking into this bigger-than-life creature. Burton commented, "Michael is also a bit claustrophobic, which made it worse for him. The costume put him in a dark, Batman-like mood, though, so he was able to use it to his advantage." Burton's idea was to use an all-black suit and was met with positive feedback by Bob Kane. Vin Burnham was tasked with sculpting the Batsuit in association with Ali Einan. John Peters wanted to use a Nike product placement with the Batsuit. Ringwood studied over 200 comic book issues for inspiration. 28 sculpted latex designs were created, 25 different cape looks, and 6 different heads were made, accumulating a total cost of $250,000. Comic book fans initially expressed negative feedback against the Batsuit. Burton opted not to use tights, spandex, or underpants as seen in the comic book, feeling that it was not intimidating enough. Prosthetic makeup designer Nick Dudman used acrylic-based makeup paint called Pax for Nicholson's chalk white face. Part of Nicholson's contract was approved over the makeup designer. Batman the Video Game. Batman the Video Game is a video game developed by Sunsoft for the Nintendo Entertainment System, featuring the DC Comics character Batman, loosely based on the 1989 film of the same name. The game is a platformer featuring 5 levels. Gameplay. The game has a feature that was unusual in side-scrolling platform games at the time, largely to the NES itself. Unlike Sunsoft's Batman for the Mega Drive Genesis, which features the grappling hook, Batman has the ability to do a wall jump. He is able to use 3 projectile weapons, the Batarang, Bat Disc, and Batpoon, which are powered by pellet cartridges. Though officially tied to the 1989 film, the plot of the game bears very little resemblance. The stages in the game consist of the Gotham City streets, Axis chemical plant, Gotham sewers, Mysterious Laboratory, and the Gotham Cathedral bell tower. A number of notable DC Universe villains appear as low-level minions in the game, including Deadshot, KG Beast, Maxi Zeus, Heatwave, Shakedown, and Night Slayer. The bosses in the game are Killer Moth, a device known as Machine Intelligence System, the Electrocutioner, a machine known as the Dual Container Alarm, Firebug, and the Joker. The penultimate boss will be skipped in the continued play if the player reached the Joker previously, so the player can directly fight the Joker next time. Development. The prototype version of the game had significant differences, such as a 1-up icon and entirely different cutscenes. Originally, the game's final boss was Firebug, and there was no Joker boss. Instead, Batman is shown defeating the Joker in the ending cutscene. The art and dialogue were changed from the prototype to the final version to better reflect the look and events from the film. Reception. Batman the Video Game garnered generally favorable reception from critics. Electronic Gaming Monthly's 4 reviewers praised the intermission cutscenes, challenging bosses, and different weapons. While the graphics received praise for matching the film's mood, they felt it detracted from the game's overall appeal and added that its gameplay could get repetitive. Computer Video Games' Paul Rand lauded the presentation for its foreboding backgrounds, Batman's main sprite, and cutscenes. Rand also celebrated the game's soundscapes and frenetic gameplay. Ace's Eugene Lacey praised the game's atmospheric audiovisual presentation and gameplay, but commented that its overall appeal depends largely on being a Batman fan and noted for its difficulty. Joystick's Jean-Marc Demolli regarded the game as an excellent achievement on the NES, highlighting its dark graphics, sordid atmosphere, music, playability, and controls. Player One's Patrick Giordano applauded the visuals for their gothic-esque look and animated cutscenes. Giordano also praised the game's soundtrack, audio effects, and controls, but noted its learning curve. Reyes found that the game to be very good but considered the levels to be short. Mean Machine's Matt Reagan and Julian Rignall praised the game's presentation for its animated cutscenes, crisp visuals, addictive gameplay, and balanced difficulty, but saw the audio as the only shortcoming. Video Games Heinrich Lenhardt commented the game's thrilling music and said that the dark graphics have a certain charm, but emphasized that it will take some getting used to and criticized the cumbersome way of switching weapons. Playtime's Rainer Rosshirt found the game to be highly playable and gave positive remarks for its audiovisual department. Total's Andy Dyer expressed admiration for the game's atmospheric backgrounds and gameplay, but remarked that the soundscapes were not its best aspect. Nintendo Magazine System, the official Nintendo magazine, rated it as a first-class title and considered its gameplay to be addictive, but highlighted the high level of difficulty. Super Gamer labeled it as one of the best platform games released on the NES, stating that the graphics captured the atmospheric and feel of the Batman. All Games Brent Allen Weiss called it one of the best superhero games for the NES. In a retrospective outlook, Hardcore Gaming 101's Chris Raza highlighted its visual, responsive controls, level design, and soundtrack, writing that Sunsoft's first attempt at a Batman game remains its best. Sales. According to Famitsu, Batman sold approximately 78,437 copies during its lifetime in Japan. In 1989, EGM gave it their Best Movie to Game award. In the years after its release, it has been celebrated as one of the best games on the NES. Furthermore, it is also listed among the best Batman games. In 2009, IGN placed the title on their Top 100 NES Games list at number 33, citing its gameplay and high difficulty. In 2014, Digital Trends named it one of the 50 best games for the NES, although the publication noted storyline changes from the film on which it was based. In 2022, Destructoid identified it as one of the 10 best games for the NES, opining that it was better designed than Ninja Gaiden, but highlighted its difficult nature. In 2023, Den of Geek listed it as one of the best 15 games for the NES, based on movies and TV shows. Some excerpts from the Batman Instruction Manual. Thank you for purchasing the Sunsoft Batman Game Pack. Please read this instruction booklet carefully before starting to play the game. In doing so, you will be able to play the game better and enjoy it even more. Be sure to keep these instructions in a safe place. Precautions. Be sure to turn the power off before inserting the game pack or removing it from the unit. This is a high-tech instrument. Do not store it in an area subject to extreme hot or cold temperatures. Never drop it, don't even bump it, or attempt to take it apart. Avoid touching the connectors. Do not allow them to get wet or dirty. Doing so will damage the unit. Game story. The citizens of Gotham City are busy planning the city's 200th anniversary festival, but there is not much to celebrate. Crime and violence rule the city. Only one man can free the city from the Joker's evil clutches, is the one and only Batman. With your help, the Caped Crusader can defeat the Joker and save the good people of Gotham City. Batman is armed with special weapons and acrobatic strength. He must destroy 15 different types of enemies and 5 bosses, while traveling through 5 stages. Finally, Batman comes face to face with the Joker. But who will prevail? It's up to you. Stage 1, Gotham City. Batman begins his adventure in Gotham City. As he investigates the DDID nerve gas scandal, Batman travels through the dark, deserted Main Street. In the second area, he encounters a shopping mall background with skyscrapers at the bottom. There is no sign of life, only the steel skeletons of buildings and steel structure of a freeway. Finally, Batman reaches City Hall, located in the center of Gotham City, where he must defeat the boss, Killer Moth, to enter Stage 2. Stage 2, Axis Chemical Factory. The Joker's hideout, the Axis Chemical Factory, is Batman's next challenge. Here he must cross a liquid waste floor, the plant for processing chemical waste, the spark floor, equipped with operational panels of power for the entire factory, the conveyor belt floor, where chemical materials are refined, and finally the nerve center, the boss of Stage 2. In this area, Batman must outsmart security traps and destroy the entire machine intelligence system. Stage 3, Underground Conduit. Even though Batman successfully destroyed the chemical factory, he is caught in a trap and dropped into an underground conduit. Underground conduits 1 and 2 are a network of sewers connecting all of Gotham City. Here, Batman must find the secret exit, the underground cavern. The water flowing through the conduits generates power for the underground station in the cavern. When Batman finds the exit, he must defeat the electrocutioner who is waiting to advance to Stage 4. Stage 4 Laboratory Ruins. Stage 4 Laboratory Ruins. The Joker's other hideout, the Laboratory Ruins, is a contaminated, deserted laboratory. As Batman enters the research laboratory, he sees an array of futuristic life samples being made by genetic engineering. The next area Batman searches is a storage room, an almost empty warehouse with researching engineering tools and equipment, energy conduits, and a power-driving motors. Finally, Batman reaches the thermal processing plant, where a burning hot flame is used to process waste and refuse. The Caped Crusader can now destroy the dual container alarm boss and reach his final destination. Stage 5, Cathedral. The secret transmitter leads Batman to his greatest challenge, the Cathedral. After climbing the dark, narrow staircase to the bell tower, Batman is attacked by the Joker's trusted bodyguard, Firebug, where he is greeted by none other than the Joker, where he has his final battle. Now, you may have noticed that I occasionally used a jeweler's hammer to tap some of the larger pieces in place. That was to make sure that the plates were as secure as possible, because I planned on mounting the Batwing flat on a wall over stairs. And again, this is a jeweler's hammer, which caused no damage whatsoever. Seriously. I damaged more Lego pieces as a child when I would use my teeth to pry some of the pieces apart. Total build time today, 6 hours, 30 minutes, 52 seconds. Which means you could watch all of the 1989 Batman film at 2 hours 6 minutes, Batman Returns at 2 hours 6 minutes, and Batman Forever at 2 hours 2 minutes, with 16 minutes left over. I guess you could use that time to be kind and rewind. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Remember to like, subscribe, share, ring that bell, all the things for the YouTubes. Thank you.